Hello, my name is Jenna Bosiger, and you're watching Cryptids. On this episode, I combined a few trips that I made, like 2 or 3 trips that I made back to what was my Bigfoot hotspot. As you can see, the riverbed has been cleared out, and this used to be just completely filled with trees and boulders and all kinds of interesting things. So it looks like it's still being used as a trackway, and something interesting happened. I had taken these photos and I looked at them, but I was looking at them even closer. And I have a couple photos where there's these footprints going straight up the cliff towards the reservation side, and you're not allowed to go on that side. So I figured they were just going on to that side, but taking a closer look, I decided to kind of zoom in to see where the prints led and how they were getting up there. And it was really interesting because I was following the tracks up there, zoomed in, and I was thinking I was going to see them just sort of a path that was going over onto the reservation side. But instead I followed it up, and then I noticed that the cliff was like sheer and too steep for them to be going up. And so I followed the footprints, and it led to this little cave area, which there are plenty. And I zoom in and I see a silhouette of a figure. And so, of course, I do my technique of lightening and zooming and enlarging and stuff. And there's a face there. So sure, maybe it's just a coincidence that it looks like a face, but I've actually got 2 pictures where they look like a face. And gosh, I'm not sure if these were taken on different days or not, but they do show a face hiding up in there. And not only that, but looking more closely, well, there's 2 areas where there's footprints going up the cliff. And this other area where they're going up the cliff, I followed them up, and it led to a hole in the ground. It looks like a cave entrance. So that's interesting. Another strange coincidence. So let's talk about the footprints, because this area is being used as a trackway. There's so many different animals and humans using this as a trackway. And so examining these prints is important. And one way that is, pretty easy to tell if they're human prints is if you can make a straight line going from heel to heel, but going in between the toes or in between each footprint. And you can make a perfectly straight line just going right in between the toes. Whereas big footprints are said to be in a straight line. So that's something to look for. And what's crazy about this area is there's just so many tracks. And a lot of times they just abruptly end, turning around in all kinds of different directions. And sometimes they're probably even layered. So it's hard to tell which direction they're going in. So I took out a couple interesting pictures to show you guys because they seem a little bit odd. Like this one looks like, I've gotten a lot of handprints from here before, and these prints look like hands or strange feet. And then this one I got one time, and it's just another strange foot. It's very flexed and it's curved, which is something I've seen before. Very curved foot, and not really any arch, long toes. They call that splayed toes. When the toes haven't been in shoes, they will splay out and fan out. And feet that have been in shoes are going to be pressed together and tight. Also, you can look for maybe some extended toenails or claws coming out of the toes. And this one's interesting, but really it's just 2 feet print layered upon each other, which gives the illusion of there being a print with 10 toes, but that's probably not the case. So a couple other weird things I found were this stick here. This isn't a stick. This is a tree branch, and it's been broken in half. I'm not sure how that was. I don't know how that happened. And all of the branches are broken or uprooted. None of them are cut with a saw or a tool like that. I also found some circular stone pits that would have like leaves and stuff in them. And for the most part, none of them look like they've been used, which is a good thing. I started, getting a collection of pictures as well of what look like entrances into the underground. And I've talked a tiny bit about the underground in Hemet before, but what's interesting is that the whole reason I discovered the stuff about the underground in Hemet was for reasons like this. Because back in the day when I was doing my Bigfoot research, I was finding holes like this that look like there's some kind of underground going on in Hemet. So that's what motivated me to do the research into looking into the underground in Hemet. And that was a total can of worms. Hemet has a huge underground. We can discuss that on another episode. But here are pictures leading into these underground. Another thing, basically, I'm looking at these cliffs in a new way now after seeing those prints leading up into these, what I think are cave dwellings. I think that they are like, not just passing through, they're literally living right in there. It's possible. Okay, now this one picture caught my attention. I could be wrong, I could be right, but I saw this hole. And immediately I thought of something. I also saw the stick next to the hole. And I thought of when I was doing research on chimpanzees to see if I could learn anything about Bigfoot behavior. And it reminded me of a behavior that chimps do where they select sticks, they prepare the sticks, and they make a tool, and then they make a hole, and then they stick the stick in the hole and pull it out and get bugs to eat the bugs. And that's what they do. And when I saw the hole in the stick and all the prints around the area, I was like, yeah, could be. And if I start getting more than one or two or pictures of the same thing, that's what I would call a pattern. And so then I'll post about it and tell you about it. And I have noticed dog collars. This one seeming to be rolled up. And this blue one, which was almost like in brand new condition, just laying there. And it might not mean anything, and it might mean something. But remember, there was a kill field down there. That's all for this time. Thank you for listening and watching. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell. Until next time, bye.